بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، له الحمد الحسن والثناء الجميل، وأشهد أن لا إله إلا الله الملك الحق المبين، وأشهد أن محمدا رسول الله المبعوث رحمة للعالمين، وأن أصدق الحديث كتاب الله تعالى، وخير الهدي هدي محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم، وشر الأمور محدثاتها، وكل محدثة بدعة، وكل بدعة ضلالة، وكل ضلالة في النار. In the name of Allah, the most merciful, the grantor of mercy. All praise and glory belongs to Allah, Lord of the worlds. Indeed, Allah is deserving of the best of thanks and the most beautiful of praises. And we testify that no one is worthy of worship but Allah alone, without any partners, the true supreme king. And that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ was his servant and his prophet and his messenger, whom Allah Azza wa Jalla has sent as a mercy to the worlds. And the truest of words are the words of Allah, and the best of guiding is the Sunnah, the example of our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ. And the most dangerous of matters, the newly added matters into the deen, for every single one of them is leading astray, that only leads to the fire. We welcome everybody back, or I welcome myself back. You guys are locals, not me. We had begun the study of Surah Yusuf when I was about 3 months younger, right? A younger version of me had began this course. And then Jersey City insisted on having a snowstorm the next month. And then the month after that, your brother said, Ammar Shukri here. So I took the opportunity to run away. Not because I don't like him. I love him more than I love myself. But he's more than enough when the microphone is with him for the night. May Allah bless him and his family. And now we're back together 3 months later with the reunion. Of course, we had begun the story of Yusuf alayhi salam, wherein Allah Azza wa Jal begins the surah, that we have sent it down as an Arabic Quran so that you may understand, and we relate to you here. This is the third ayah, the best of stories, of which we gave you in this Quran, and you were unaware of it before this time. When Yusuf said to his father, "Oh my dear father, I have seen in my dream 11 كوكبا, 11 stars, and the sun and the moon, I saw them all prostrating, making sujood, meaning out of respect, to me." We stopped there and took whatever lessons we had time to discuss, and you can go back to the video bi'idhnillah, but with that same style. We'll try to go through the surah as much as possible each night until we meet. And for those of you that are writing, or will watch the video and write later, you will find yourself come out with, insha'Allah, dozens, if not hundreds of lessons by the time we get through this amazing story. So we ended at Yusuf alayhi salam relaying to his father, "Oh my father, I saw in this dream that the 11 stars and the sun and the moon are prostrating to me." We continue with the next ayah, where his father, Yaqub alayhi salam, said to him, and this is the 5th ayah for those that are going to be following. قَالَ يَا بُنَيَّ لَا تَقْصُصْ رُؤْيَاكَ عَلَى إِخْوَتِكَ فَيَكِيدُوا لَكَ كَيْدًا. He said, "Oh my dear son, do not relate, don't speak of this vision, this dream that you had, this vision in your dream, this dream that you had to your brothers, lest out of fear that they may put together a plot against you." And then his father went on to explain why they would do that. He said, "إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ." Indeed, the devil to the human being is a clear, apparent adversary, enemy. What happened here? Just a bit of context. That was our style, then the lessons. Yaqub alayhi salam, of course he is the prophet of Allah, who was given the ability to interpret events, of them dreams, just like our Prophet Muhammad ﷺ would do with the Sahaba, and he knew what this meant, this 11 stars and the sun and the moon making sujood to him, meaning he knew that his son was going to be something great. And perhaps he also informed him that this is what your dream means, that you're going to have a great future, you're going to become very special. And so as a result of that, he told him, "Don't tell your brothers of your dream," meaning that they become jealous that you're going to become so special. And this is a lesson that we need to learn. At-Tabarani, he narrates, and this hadith has a controversial chain, but the concept is established in the ayah. But the hadith was deemed authentic by Shaykh Al-Albani rahimahullah, wherein the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wa sallam said, "Ista'inu ala qada'i hawaijikum bil-kitman." Seek help in the completion of your affairs through concealment, silence, not mentioning them. Meaning, if you want to make sure your plans work out good, of the ways to help yourself do that is to not mention it too much. Then he explained why in the hadith sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, and he said, فَإِنَّ كُلَّ صَاحِبِ نِعْمَةٍ مَحْسُودٍ. Because every person that has a certain ni'mah that is blessed in some way will be the object of envy, will be envy. People will be jealous of him. And this is something very important. Just because you're happy about something good in your life, don't be naive. Don't be gullible. Don't think everyone else is going to be as happy for you as you are for yourself. Right? And especially when that matter has not come to be yet, when it's something potential in the future. But even when it does happen, still, don't show it to the world. We have that in our culture. Every time you have something, you have a meal. You take a picture and you throw it on Facebook, yeah? In the weddings, a girl has a beautiful body. The next day, everybody's talking because she showed everything. She showed her hair, she bought the most expensive dress, and she showed the... whatever, right? Don't flaunt yourself or your blessings. Aside from that being dangerous for your heart, you could even lose those blessings because of it, because of this envy that people will inevitably have about you. And so his father advised him with that just because they're your brothers doesn't mean they're not going to envy you. Don't think just because they're family, just because they're close, just because they're Muslim. You know, Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah was asked about this issue. He was asked, أَيَحْسُدُ الْمُؤْمِنِ, like envy, jealousy is such a grave sin in Islam. Because if you think about it a little bit, you're objecting to Allah, you're saying, oh, I shouldn't have had that, I should have had it instead of this. It's a disaster of a sin. It's one of the ugliest sins of the heart. Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah was asked, would a believer ever do that? If it's so ugly, أَيَحْسُدُ الْمُؤْمِنِ, can the believer be envious? قَالَ مَا أَنْسَاكُمْ لِإِخْوَةِ يُوسُف. Like how fast you forget the brethren of Yusuf. Referring to this ayah. I mean, just because they're the sons of a prophet even, doesn't mean they won't envy. Obviously, a complete believer will not do it. But meaning a believer in the least sense of the word, the one that's a Muslim. Yaqub alayhi salam, when he said to his son, don't mention it to your brothers, he clarified to him why. And he clarified to him where the envy would come from. He said, إِنَّ الشَّيْطَانَ لِلْإِنسَانِ عَدُوٌّ مُبِينٌ. Because, don't tell them, because shaitan is to the human being a clear enemy. Shaitan is an enemy in every way, of course, but especially regarding envy, it doesn't need to be mentioned, because the very first sin shaitan committed, which caused him to defy Allah Azza wa Jalla and reject the commandment, was that he was jealous and envious. So that is his primary problem with humanity. He's jealous of them. Jealous of their form and jealous of their intelligence, and this is what drove everything else. And whomever falls short of staying on top of their heart and constantly checking what's going on in their heart, shaitan will cause you to inherit that sin from him. And this is something that happens across the board, in every generation, regardless of who you are. And that's why the early Arab, they used to say, مَا خَلَى جَسَدٌ مِّنْ حَسَدٍ. There is no jasad, body, that is void of hasad, right? The only difference is what the believer buries it. He looks after it, he cleans it out, he comes in, he cleans it out, right? Or instead of competing with him in dunya, he'll redirect it to competing in the matters of deen, right? That's what the believer, but every jasad, every body has this hasad inside it. And that of the greatest reasons why people, or greatest frequency, most frequently people are jealous when they are peers of one another. Because they're your brothers, because they feel like, oh, we were that close to being like you, why him and not us, right? And that's why those that are contemporaries, or those that live with one another, or are in the same sphere, or in the same locality, or have similar talents, right? This is when you should fear most jealousy, like co-wives, for example, right? Or, two sheikhs that have the same audience, right? Or two scholars of the same age. And that's why, subhanAllah, the early scholars of hadith, they used to say, كَلَامُ الْأَقْرَانِ يُطْوَى وَلَا يُرْوَى. That the statements of the peers, meaning about each other, it is folded up, just put it away. We accept everything from the shaykh except this. Why? Because he lived in the same time and maybe there's a bit of, bad blood, sour relationship because of that. So yutwa is folded up, wala yurwa is not to be narrated. So for example, Imam Malik rahimahullah is of the greatest scholars ever in fiqh and in hadith. And Imam Ahmad rahimahullah is whomever Imam Malik narrates from, that's enough. That means that person is a trustworthy narrator, right? But then there was a certain somebody who Imam Malik used to speak about. Not to say that his intentions were bad, but this is just a human tendency that sometimes can, get you to leave the mark a bit, be quick to judge a bit and the likes. They would say, as for that statement, just leave it alone. We'll take, from the other ulama to get a clearer picture of who this person was. Rahmatullahi ala al-jami'. Abu Sa'ud, in his tafsir of this ayah, he says something really cool. He says, it's as if Yusuf alayhi salam said to his father, how in the world can they be jealous of me when they were raised in the house of prophethood? Meaning you're a prophet of Allah. How are your kids going to have this disease? And so his father sought to clarify to him by saying, no. This has nothing to do with them. It has to do with shaitan. He'll get them to do it. That's why he explained to them, Inna shaitan al-insani aduwwu mubin. And keep in mind, Yusuf alayhi salam was also very young here. And so shaitan is still going to provoke people against him, his older brothers against him. This is another lesson from this ayah, that shaitan is bent on harming the human being from his childhood. And that's why your children, you do ruqya on them. You ask Allah to protect them when they go to sleep and in the mornings and the likes. That's why also the Prophet ﷺ said in Hadith Sahih Bukhari, every child comes out of their mother's womb screaming because shaitan punches them or stabs them, he pokes them. He's declaring his enmity to them from day one. He said, except Maryam and her son, alayhim as-salam. Also, of the fiqh lessons in this ayah is that it's permissible to warn about the Muslim, and it's not backbiting when there's an outweighing benefit for that. When there's a benefit that you cannot get without warning, Like Yusuf alayhi salam is young, his father tells him, just be careful. He said, okay, be careful. I'll be careful. But it may never dawn on him that you need to be careful from the closest people to you. So in that case, it becomes necessary to mention them by name. Be careful of your brothers. Yeah? Normally that would be backbiting, because it implies that his brothers are going to do something evil. But when there's a benefit that needs to be gained, or a harm that needs to be warded off, and you cannot do it without mentioning their name, then you have no choice, you must mention their name. Right? Just as the Prophet ﷺ, when he was approached by that companionette, right? Fatima bint Qais? It may have been Fatima bint Qais, radiallahu anha. And she received 3 proposals. She received from Usama ibn Zayd, and she received from Abu Jahl, and she received from Muawiyah ibn Abi Sufyan. Right? You can't just say, oh, alhamdulillah, he's a great brother. No, we do that all the time. What do you think of so-and-so? He's proposing to me. Oh, he's great. Actually, you're not allowed to do that. Unless you know. And if you know negative, and it can affect the marriage, you need to mention that as well. He said, sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, as for Abu Jahl, فَإِنَّهُ لَا يَضَعُ الْعَصَى عَنْ عَاتِقٍ. Abu Jahl is a tough guy. Abu Jahl is a tough guy. He never puts his stick down. Meaning he's aggressive in his relationship with women. And that's not cool in marriage relationships. He said, وَمُعَاوِيَ سُعْلُقٌ لَا مَالَ لَهَ. And Muawiyah, he's still a person that hasn't made much money yet. He's very poor. He's not going to be able to give you that life you're expecting. تزوجي أسامة. وانكحي أسامة, marry Usama ibn Zayd. رضي الله تعالى عن الجميع. Let's move on to the next ayah, بإذن الله. So he told him, إن الشيطان الإنسان عدو مبين. Then he continued telling his son, وكذلك يجتبيك ربك ويعلمك من تأويل الأحاديث ويتم نعمته عليك وعلى آل يعقوب كما أتمها على أبويك من قبل إبراهيم وإسحاق إن ربك عليم حكيم. And thus, in this manner, Allah will choose you. وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ. And He will teach you the interpretation of ahadith. Ahadith are events, also including dreams, right? and perfect His favor upon you. Many have said, well, this means that He's going to turn you into a prophet. So Yaqub alayhi salam explains to him what's going to happen. And He will perfect His favor upon you the same way He perfected it upon your fathers, Ibrahim and Ishaq. I mean, that's when He made them prophets, so He's going to perfect that favor on you too. He's not just going to bless you with respect, He's going to perfect that favor. You're going to be the most respected of humanity. Just like your fathers. So Allah will honor you, grant you the gift of prophethood, like your fathers. Inna rabbaka alimun hakim. Indeed, your Lord is alim, all-knowing, hakim, all-wise, subhanahu wa ta'ala. What lessons can we take quickly from this ayah? First of all, Yaqub alayhi salam said, and perfect the favor on you the same way He perfected it ala abawayk, upon your two fathers, Ibrahim and Ishaq. But neither of them are his father. It is his grandfather Ishaq and his great-grandfather Ibrahim alayhi salam. What he called them fathers. There's a fiqh lesson here. That your grandfather, legally speaking, is your father. In terms of inheritance, if your father is there, it'll go to your grandfather. In terms of mahramiyya, who's your mahram? Right? Your grandfather is your father. Right? And it is correct and not deceiving to call your grandpa your pa. Right? Your grandfather your father as well. وَيُعَلِّمُكَ مِنْ تَأْوِيلِ الْأَحَادِيثِ, and to teach you the interpretation of ahadith. Ahadith here means events. So the events that are, or statements, okay, that took place. This could mean the wahy, the revelation that Allah will give you. These are ahadith, right? Linguistically speaking. Or it could mean the ahadith, meaning the ru'ah, the visions. You'll be able to interpret dreams. And by the way, as you will see later on in the surah, both of these are taught by Allah, and both of these are considered fatwa, which is important. So like you can't just talk about the wahy from your head, and you can't talk about dreams either just from your head. This is a serious issue, because Allah Azza calls each of them fatwa. It is as if you're speaking on behalf of Allah. You're explaining a message that was sent by Allah, either in a book or in a heart, right? So this matter must be taken seriously, and of course we mention that because many a times, I saw a wedding dress, I'm getting married. I lost a tooth, I'm gonna die. I heard adhan, that means I'm going to make hajj. These are possibly the interpretations, by the way. Possibly, but not necessarily, right? And I'm not going to get into it. Let me withhold from that, inshallah. And then his father says to him all this, then he tells him, Inna rabbaka alimun hakim. Indeed, your Lord is alim, knowing, hakim. He knows who deserves to be chosen out of the brothers, right? And He knows how best to prepare that person and deliver to that person that gift that he deserves. And this statement, by the way, the scholars took from it the opinion that the brothers of Yusuf ﷺ were not prophets. Allah knows, meaning He knows they don't deserve it than you do. Right? And Allah Azza wa Jal is Hakim. Be certain that He is wise. It's as if Yaqub alayhi salam knows the sunnah of Allah, the tradition of Allah and His creation. You're going to be something really big. But that doesn't happen without a very complicated staircase, right? Greatness, that the whole bunch of rocks, it's a rocky road. But when you get through that, you need to be certain that those rocks are there for a reason. You need to be certain throughout that your Lord is wise. By the way, when you go through difficulties in life, those are opportunities to add to your greatness. Not just like Yusuf, I said, all of us. But the trick to seeing that is to be certain that Allah is wise. Once you get past the fact that there's a wisdom here, is there a wisdom? Why is this happening to me? Once you say, no, there's a wisdom, Allah chose this and He chooses wisely, that is when He starts showing you a bit of the wisdom. Once you get past the internal discussion, is there a wisdom in this? Is that clear? This is true with qadar, with destiny, and this is true with the shara as well. Once you get past the fact that there is a wisdom here, I trust Allah and trust that He's wiser than me, that's when your mind starts opening up to the wisdoms in it. And of Allah's names, by the way, is that He's a Fattah, the constant opener. Of what He opens pockets in your mind to get you to understand something that you would never have understood before. To see something that no one around you sees. Allah Azza wa Jal then says, لَقَدْ كَانَ فِي يُوسُفَ وَإِخْوَتِهِ آيَاتٌ لِلسَّائِلِينَ. Indeed, in Yusuf, his event, his incident, and his brothers, the ordeal to him and his brothers, is truly a sign for those that are asking, those that inquire. What does that mean? Some scholars bring a report that mentioned that the Jews had asked the Prophet ﷺ about this incident. And so he brought them information that blew them out of the water. Brought them information that was a clear sign that he knew what he was talking about, ﷺ. This is not somebody plagiarizing from the other books. This is not someone acting like he's following the message of the previous prophets. In fact, it's like what? There's an ayah in Surah Al-Khaf. وَيَسْأَلُونَكَ عَنْ ذِي الْقَرْنَيْنِ. Right? And they ask you about ذُو الْقَرْنَيْن. Yeah? قُلْ سَأَتْلُو عَلَيْكُم مِّنْهُ ذِكْرًا. Such an awesome ayah. They ask you, who ذُو الْقَرْنَيْن is? Tell them, O Muhammad, I'll tell you about him. Like, not just do I know him, I'll tell you what you don't know. I'll make you know that you don't know him. Indeed, in Yusuf and his brothers is a sign for those that ask. Other scholars, they said, for those that ask, meaning whoever is asking up here, not necessarily verbally, whoever is inquiring about the outcome of jealousy. You want to know how bad jealousy is, how it destroys the world and gets you to miss out on life? Check out this story. And what else destroyed Quraysh but their jealousy of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam? What destroyed the world, brought murder into humanity, but the son of Adam who was jealous of his brother? Right? What is it that destroyed Iblis but that as well? And likewise, whoever is asking about the outcome of patience, look at Yusuf alayhi salam and what he went through. Indeed, in Yusuf and his brothers, a sign for those that ask, إِذْ قَالَ يُوسُفُ إِذْ قَالُوا, when his brother said. Now the transition, the story is changing to another scene. It's not with his father anymore, other brothers are talking. إِذْ قَالُوا لَيُوسُفُ وَأَخُوهُ أَحَبُّ إِلَىٰ أَبِينَا مِنَّا وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ إِنَّ أَبَانَا لَفِي ضَلَالٍ مُبِينٍ. When they said, the brothers, Yusuf and his brother, because Yusuf and his brother, who they say is Benjamin, the name is not in Quran and Sunnah, but the historians mention, fine, no big deal. We don't need to fight about that. If it was relevant, it would be in the ayat and the hadith, but it's not a big deal. They said that Yusuf and his brother are more beloved to our father than us. The historians mention that, and they say, وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ, and we are a clan, meaning we're different. We are the big family. We are from a different mother, right? As many of the scholars mentioned. And these two, these leftovers, these, nobody, he loves them more than he loves us. Inna abana lafi dalalin mubin. Indeed, our father is in a grave error. Error here, by the way, dalal is error in judgment, not misguidance. As Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah says, they mean error here linguistically, not religiously. Because if they meant dalal religiously, they would all be kuffar, because you call a prophet a disbeliever, or a prophet misguided, yeah? So they meant he's wrong in his judgments. They're saying, how can we be stronger and from a different mother and all together, and he loves them more? Of course, they were the ones that had an error in judgment, right? Because love is something a person cannot distribute fairly. Like, he can't divide his heart as he likes. The Prophet ﷺ, he said about Khadija, إِنِّي رُزِقْتُ حُبَّهَا. Like, Allah provided me with her love. Like, I love her in a way that I've never loved anybody, and have never loved anybody. Right? And then when Khadija عنها died, and he married the women that he married, he could not help but love Aisha more. Who is the most beloved person to you? You would say Aisha. And the Prophet ﷺ told us that when Allah loves somebody, يُوضَعُ لَهُ الْقَبُولُ فِي الْأَرْضِ, like He places acceptance for him in the earth. Like He places in the hearts of the people. They accept Him. They love Him more. This is something that cannot be helped. And you cannot hold this against anybody. But what is mandatory is that that love does not drive you to commit injustice. Right? That's the case. Because as the Prophet ﷺ said, اتَّقُوا اللَّهَ وَعَدِلُوا بَيْنَ أَوْلَادِكُمْ. Fear Allah and be just between your children. You give one something, you give one a kiss, you give another one a kiss. In everything, be just, be fair. That justice is mandatory in treatment. As for in love, that's something no one can control. But the expression of that love, you can do an almost perfect job of controlling it. The expression. You have to keep yourself in there. But again, because they were jealous, they held that against him, and this destroys humanity. And subhanAllah, the issue about jealousy, like just come back to it one last time. The jealous person, his problem is that he's objecting to Allah and he's not going to win. Right? Like he's oppressing himself. Abdullah ibn Mas'ud says, مَا رَأَيْتُ ظَالِمًا أَشْبَهُ بِمَظْلُومٍ مِنَ الْحَسُودِ. I never saw an oppressor that more looked like an oppressed person than the jealous person, the envier. Because no one burns more than you. You eat yourself up emotionally, and you eat yourself up, by the way, it's just sparked in my head now, religiously. Because the hadith says that jealousy, hasad, eats away good deeds the same way that fire eats away dry wood. No, when there's dry wood, it's so easy to burn, it's gone. Yeah? The jealousy, so long as it remains in your heart, it eats away your heart and your good deeds, the same way the fire does that with the wood. And so they become blind and they are harming only themselves. Because Allah is the most generous. Even if He takes that blessing away from the person, He can give them another one. And He's always giving people things, subhanahu wa ta'ala. And that's why, I believe it was Al-Qushayri, rahimahullah, he says, their jealousy caused them to place him in the well. As you know, the story will continue and mention. And Allah Azza wa Jal raised him on top of the arsh, the throne of the people, obviously, right? So, you're not going to win, because you're trying to fight qadr. And the qadr is not in your hands. Yeah? So it's like self-destruct button when a person allows for jealousy to settle in his heart. Indeed, Yusuf and his brother are more beloved to our father than us, and we are a strong clan. Indeed, our father is in grave error. What did they say? What was the suggestion? Some of them got up and they said, اقتلوا يوسف أو اطرحوه أرضا يخل لكم وجه أبيكم وتكونوا من بعده قوما صالحين. So let's just kill Yusuf. Right? أو اطرحوه, or throw him out أرضا, in some vacant land, some barren land. Meaning throw him out in the middle of the desert, just leave him there. Or kill him directly with your bare hands. Right? And then the face of your father will become vacant for you. Meaning you'll have his undivided attention. He'll become vacant. He won't be staring at anything else. He'll have you. Right? And then after that, you will be a righteous people. Pay attention to the words. Kill him. Or throw him far away. Because that'll get you your father, right? And then after that you're going to be good people. The ayat here, it's as if Allah is illustrating for us their internal struggle. They know it's wrong, and they know they shouldn't do it, and they're trying to figure out the best way and to justify and to silence their conscience. And we do this all the time, by the way. I'm sorry, we gotta say it. We take, al-mukhaddir al-imani, some people say, like the religious sedatives. You know sedatives? You guys know sedatives? What are sedatives? There's another word for it. You guys know anesthesia? Epidurals for the sisters. Yeah? We give ourselves all the time spiritual, religious sedatives. We have this big problem in our head about a certain act we committed or can't resist that we're going to commit it, and so we silence our conscience with that. That's called a false tawbah, right? An unacceptable, invalid repentance, right? Or call it being, or illusion. You didn't even repent to begin with. I sell whatever I sell, alhamdulillah, I make umrah every year, yeah? I have absolutely no spirituality in my heart or any mercy for the Muslims or anything, but I have, alhamdulillah, the ability to quote ayat and hadith for an hour straight in a lecture. Yeah? We remind ourselves of the things we have done to forget the things we haven't done. Or sometimes we say the things we will do. And you pre-planning a repentance is clearly one of those things. And then you will be a righteous people. Like that will be the last of our sins. Like when we say, once I make hajj, once I get married. Same thing, right? I'll stop. And so a person really needs to be truthful with himself and with the flaws in himself before they blind you. Because this waver in here doesn't stay forever. After a while, because a person can't live with that struggle all the time. When there is a shahwa, a certain desire, it gets flipped into a shubha later, like a confusion. I have this guilt trip for not wearing hijab for so long. I am more susceptible now when I hear some crazy, accusation that hijab is not really from Islam, it's actually a Jewish culture, and a whole bunch of scholars added to hijab to Islam later. I would love to accept that. I can be convinced by that because I want to be convinced by that. So a person needs to be aware of the desires in his heart that eat away at him, or else they can blind you altogether. Because it begins as a desire, then it becomes a doubt, if you don't chase it out fast enough. And the examples of this, wallahi, are so many, left and right. May Allah protect us and show us our flaws. Also, by the way, Al-Qurtubi rahimahullah, he says in this ayah is proof that the tawbah of a killer is acceptable, meaning if it were true. Because they know that even if they kill him, if they become righteous, it will be forgiven. And this is true. So long as the person repents, even greater than murder will be accepted. But the key here is to be truthful in your tawbah, to be genuine in your regret, and your determination to not go back, to not think you're going to deceive Allah. I will do it, then but you already had a plan that you're going to act like you're regretful. That's not going to work. That's why Ibn Abbas, that famous narration many of you have heard, his students caught him telling one man, yes, there is forgiveness for a killer. Then later on, he was asked for a fatwa, is there a repentance for a killer? He said no. They said, how can you give one fatwa one day say this, another day you said that? How can that be? He said, the first person, I saw regret in his eyes. Meaning it's as if he got angry or whatever, and he killed a person, and he wants to repent really. So I told him, yes, of course, there's tawbah for this person. The second person, I saw evil, aggression in his eyes, like he wants to go kill somebody. So I told him no. Was Ibn Abbas lying to him? Why wasn't he lying? Answer the question. Why isn't that a lie? There is tawbah for a killer. And he asked him, is there tawbah for a killer? He said no. Why is that not a lie? Huh? So you can lie to prevent killing. I agree, but that's still a lie though. You just made the lie halal in that circumstance, and I agree with you. But you're saying it's a lie. My argument is that it's not a lie. Fadl.
His tawbah is not sincere.
He's saying tawbah, but he doesn't mean tawbah. He's answering the guy based on his question. He's saying, listen, if I make up for it later, will that be acceptable? So Ibn Abbas, from his wisdom, he didn't get stuck on the word tawbah. That's the difference between a book scholar and a scholar who has an understanding of the people around him. Right? He's saying what he's trying to tell us is what you're asking about will not work. That's not acceptable, no. Even if you're calling it tawbah. I'm not going to let the word trick me. It's not about terms, it's about the hearts. And of course, of the lessons of this ayah, so we can move past it very quickly. Kill Yusuf or throw him somewhere so your father's face will become vacant for you, available for you, and then you'll be righteous people. That the result of a sin is a sin after it. The punishment of a sin is like you're going to kill. And then how in the world is your father going to love you when you kill? No, we're going to lie too, right? And then we're going to have a plan, right? With the shirt and whatnot. And this is the true danger of sins. Not the sin in and of itself, but what scared, horrified the Sahaba and the early generations about their sins is that it would cause them to fall apart. Which sin is going to trigger the chain reaction that will take you? That they will come back and haunt them. This is the issue. When you do a good deed, you become more capable of performing good deeds. And that's why the reward of a good deed is a good deed like it. Likewise, the punishment of a sin is a sin like it. Every time you commit a sin, your heart becomes that much weaker, meaning that much more possible for you to commit another sin. So this whole issue of so long as I'm alive I can make tawbah is not quite that absolutist as you think. It's not like that. There could be a time where you have no more access to your own heart. وَاعْلَمُوا أَنَّ اللَّهَ يَحُولُ بَيْنَ الْمَرْءِ وَقَلْبِهِ. And know that Allah comes between a person and his heart. And so when they made these suggestions, قَالَ قَائِلٌ مِّنْهُمْ, one of them said, he's watering it down even more, لا تقتلوا يوسف وألقوه في غيابة الجب يلتقطه بعض السيارة إن كنتم فاعلين. No, one of them said, don't kill Yusuf and just throw him in the bottom, the depths of the well. يلتقطه بعض السيارة, so that some of those that are traveling, some of the travelers may pick him up on their route when they stop at this well. إن كنتم فاعلين, if you're going to do it, if you're going to be bent on doing it, then do this. And so they went to their father. This ayah is clear. قالوا يا أبانا ما لك لا تأمنا على يوسف وإنا له لناصحون. They went to their father and they said, oh our father, why is it that you don't trust us regarding Yusuf? SubhanAllah. You know when you go to somebody and you start with the accusation, it's just, why don't you trust us? Yeah? Who said I don't trust you? He's a prophet of Allah. He was fair in his dealings. But this is the guilty conscience speaking. Yeah? You know, it was narrated that Umar ibn Khattab heard a man poetry. You know poetry, they like saying words, even if the words don't match, they have to rhyme. Like, they sound cool, and that's the whole point, you know? Majority of poets are like this. So Umar ibn Khattab heard a man fell into some big trouble because of his words. What did he say? قَالَ وَمَا أَبَوَيَّ بِزَانِيَيْنِ. Like part of the stanza, the couple was that, and my two parents are not fornicators. So okay, they say my parents are pure. Umar ibn Khattab took him and whipped him. رضي الله عنه. Why did he whip him? Because nephew tuhma, rejecting the accusation, denying the accusation, implies that there's an accusation already, like that it's a possibility. Yeah? So, like we have a masjid filled with people, and I get up and say, hey, listen, who stole my book? And some guy just gets up out of nowhere and says, I didn't take it. Like, whoa, right? Who said you? What? I'm asking who took it, you're saying I didn't. That makes you feel like there's something possible here. Yeah? They came in and said, you don't trust. Well, who said I don't trust you? There's a reason not to trust you. Malaka, what is the matter? But same time they're pressuring him. Because now that he has to prove them wrong. And he's a father, has the heart of a father. Malaka la ta'manna ala Yusuf. Why don't you trust us? وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَنَاصِحُونَ. And we are very sincere to him. We're his big brothers. They pressured him and pressured him and pressured him. so that he would give in, so that the qadar of Allah would take place, right? So their father said to them, they said to him, أَرْسِلْهُ مَعَنَا غَدًا يَرْتَعْ وَيَلْعَبْ. Send him with us tomorrow, يَرْتَعْ, so he may eat, وَيَلْعَبْ, and he may play with us, وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ, and we will surely be safeguarders for him. قال إني ليحزنني أن تذهبوا به وأخاف أن يأكله الذئب وأنتم عنه غافلون. He said, but I'm afraid that he goes with you. I am saddened because he's going to be away. He couldn't bear to be away from Yusuf alayhi salam. I am saddened that you take him away, and I fear that you will become negligent of him, become heedless regarding him, and the wolf will eat him while you're unaware. Some of the scholars, they said Yaqub alayhi salam actually gave them the story, right? Out of his love for Yusuf alayhi salam, right? It's almost like when you're kind of worried and you don't know what to say, and then it's not that I don't trust you. Oh, I got you. You don't trust me, right? And you use that. You said you trust me. He said, man, I fear the wolf. So they took that. Okay, that's something he fears, meaning it's a rational fear that he would believe that the wolf ate him. And of the evidences in these ayat, send him with us tomorrow to play and eat, and we will safeguard him. It's the permissibility of playing for children. You would think that we don't need to have dalil for this, but you'd be surprised how some mentalities out there think. The ayah says that this life of dunya is la'ibun wa lahu, like playing and distractions. Yeah, for someone that has the mind, but a child has a right to play, right? And that playing actually develops his personality, right? And develops his emotions. And of that is the reason why, despite it being so wrong to have a statue of an object, girls were permitted to have dolls. There's such a high need for it, and this is more likely going to benefit her than be seen as an object of worship by her. Right? Right or wrong? You guys understand what I'm saying? Alhamdulillah. Because not that I'm speaking Spanish, but because it's 9:15. So if you're tired, I'll stop. Tired, you want to go for another ayah or two? Sure? MashaAllah. فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ. They said to him, when he said about, I fear the wolf, قَالَ لَإِنْ أَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَنَحْنُ عُصْبَةٌ إِنَّا إِذًا لَخَاسِرُونَ. They said, if the wolf eats him and we are this strong clan, we're surely losers. I mean, what do you think? You think we're absolute failures? A big, strong group can't protect this young boy from one wolf? And this is a word of truth. It could be very easy for a person, rather a group, to fend off a wolf. But this was a word of truth, as Ibn Ashur says, أُرِيدَ بِهَا بَاطِلٌ, that was used for falsehood. And this is a concept that the people of wrongdoing throughout human history have used true concepts for falsehood. Like Pamela Geller and her freedom of speech, right? There is freedom of speech. There is freedom of religion, yes? But these people use these terms to manipulate audiences, to promote their hate, to promote their lies, to promote the likes of their fear-mongering. فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ وَأَجْمَعُوا يَجْعَلُوهُ فِي غَيَابَةِ الْجُبِّ وَأَوْحَيْنَا إِلَيْهِ لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ هَذَا وَهُمْ لَا يَشْعُرُونَ. فَلَمَّا ذَهَبُوا بِهِ. Then when they went off with him, Yaqub alayhi salam gave in. And they all agreed to throw him into the depths of the well, and we revealed to him. Some scholars say at this point, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him prophethood. Others said Allah just put this meaning in his heart, He reassured him. And then we inspired to him, لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ, you will surely inform them of this matter of theirs. That a day is going to come when you're going to tell them, remember the day you threw me in a well. Like imagine, this is a young boy, his brothers who he does not suspect anything from. Like imagine the scene, it's heart-wrenching. And that's why his father had to tell him, don't tell your brothers, because he would never think this. They grabbed him and they threw him. Even some of the Israeliyat and the historical reports of Israel mentioned that every time he went to one brother to escape the other one, he would get slapped. And he'd run to another one, the other one would slap him. And then they held him to take his shirt off, because the shirt remained uncut, unripped in the rest of the story. And they had to tie him good. Right? Imagine everyone had to have an arm or something to get his shirt off of him. Then they threw him in the well. And then some of the historical reports mentioned he grabbed the side of the well and they kept banging at his hands so he would let go. Like, what a scene. Really traumatizing is the least you can say about it. And that, when all that happened, when he was going to break, Allah Azza wa Jal took care of him in a manner that nobody noticed. Right? لَتُنَبِّئَنَّهُمْ بِأَمْرِهِمْ. You're going to inform him. Some of the reports even mention that when he finally fell, when they banged his hands and they ripped it off the walls of the well, and they made sure he went down, he fell into the water of this well, and he was going to die of drowning until he found a rock, and he got up and climbed on this rock and just stood there so that he wouldn't drown. At that point, Allah says, you're going to tell them about this one day. You're not going to die. Relax. There's a very important lesson here. For the person that loves Allah and clings to Allah and understands the meaning of La hawla wa la quwwata illa billah, that there's no might or power except by Allah, Allah will strengthen you in times that you would imagine you would never be able to be strong. They say, الثبات ينزل مع البلاء. Like Allah sends steadfastness down with the catastrophe that He destines. They come together. إِنَّ مَعَ الْعُسْرِ يُسْرًا. Indeed, with difficulty comes ease. With it. The scholar said, of the meanings of that is that Allah makes it easy for you when He is making it hard on you. You understand? He makes it bearable at heart. Like you can say, for example, you can sit there and imagine, may Allah forbid and protect all the Muslims everywhere. If I were to lose my child, I would lose my mom. I would kill myself. I don't know what I would do. You would think so. But if you're a person that is near to Allah, when and if that event would happen, Allah would send down upon that heart of yours, sakina, this tranquility, right? That if everyone around you was looking at you, they may assume that you didn't even love that girl or that boy of yours. You understand? That's only for those that keep their heart near to Allah Azza wa Jalla. And so they threw him into the well, and Allah informed me, you're going to tell them about this, and they have no idea. They have no idea this is actually Allah taking care of him. Yaqub alayhi salam could no longer take care of his son. So Allah Azza wa Jalla moved his son away to another country where he would be safe from these guys. And Allah Azza wa Jalla put him, and Allah Azza wa Jalla put him through difficulty to strengthen him with it. And Allah Tabaraka wa Ta'ala planned for him some of the things you resist most in your life. You know that holding on to the well scene I just said? We do that all the time. No. You try to fight an event so hard in your life sometimes, right? To this marriage or that job, and you do everything to try to get it and it doesn't work. At that point, realize, just let it go. Leave it for Allah, when it's really not in your hands. You know the poet says, لا تدبر لك أمرا فأولو التدبير هلك سلم الأمر تجدنا أولى بك منك. I love these lines. Don't plan, meaning too hard for yourself. Because those that are bent on planning are destroyed. Meaning the one that thinks, no, it has to go the way I planned or else there is no success. If it goes any other way, you're finished. Sallim al-amr, surrender the matter, you will find us better for you than you. We got something better for you than you have for yourself. Just let it go. And Allah Azza wa had this perfect plan for Yusuf alayhi salam. I mean, think about it. He didn't put him through something that broke him. That's of the ways Allah does that, right? He He puts you through a difficulty to strengthen you, but doesn't put you in so much that He will break you. You know, I'm sorry, but I have to mention this because it's just one of the things that truly shows how we raise our children and the Muslims on a wrong understanding of Allah. I used to be so afraid that Allah would put me through a difficulty that would drive me away from Him. Like I was afraid that if I become too religious, the religious person has a harder test, that I'm going to go through a test that's going to make me lose my deen. And this is, I think I may have mentioned this before, this is spiritual stupidity. I don't have any other term for it. How can this be your perception of Allah, that you're trying to come close and He's going to get you from your weakness to break you and send you away? He may put you through hard tests, like the hadith says, but He'll put you through one that you can handle. And then He's going to give you the sakeenah to understand that. And notice that He did that with Yusuf a.s. throughout. Didn't He give him a father to tell him, Inna rabbaka alimun hakim, your Lord is knowing wise? Didn't He give him a dream to reassure him before the event happened? Didn't He inspire him with a message as it was happening? And then I'll be done, inshallah, in 8 minutes. وَجَاءُوا أَبَاهُمْ عِشَاءً يَبْكُونَ. Then they go running back to their father at night crying, making believe they're crying, these brothers. قَالُوا يَا أَبَانَا إِنَّا ذَهَبْنَا نَسْتَبِقْ وَتَرَكْنَا يُوسُفَ عِنْدَ مَتَاعِنَا فَأَكَلَهُ الذِّئْبُ وَمَا أَنْتَ بِمُؤْمِنٍ لَنَا وَلَوْ كُنَّا صَادِقِينَ. And they came to their father at night crying. They said, "Oh my father, we went off racing and we left Yusuf with our belongings, and so the wolf ate him. And you would not believe him even if we were truthful, meaning in your eyes. Even if you believe that we were truthful people, we know you don't trust us. But even if you trusted us, I know you're not going to believe us." So crazy, I know. Keep in mind, they know it's crazy because they're 10 brothers. And they know it's crazy, or they may not know this part, that they said, "Send Yusuf to eat and play with us." Why was he with the stuff while they were racing? Why wasn't he playing with you? They're getting tripped up now, right? And they came to their father at night, crying. At night, so he wouldn't notice that their crying was fake. It's in the dark. And they're crying while they were lying. I didn't mean to rhyme, it just came out that way. And this is a very important lesson for everybody, that not everybody that's crying is truthful. Right? Not every person that is injured is oppressed. You know, Al-Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he says, you should always remember this anytime anybody tells you any story about any person, especially marital problems. Because the guy is always so quick to side with the husband and think the woman is a monster because he only heard from the husband. And the sisters think the husband, the husband tells you the story so you think the wife's the monster, and vice versa, because you only heard from that one side. And if ever you've done marriage counseling, you know that you fall into this over and over again. The moment you hear from the other side, like, oh man, I'm such a fool, right? I assume so bad of people. And Hasan al-Basri rahimahullah, he says, remember this statement: if I find a person running to me with one of his eyes poked out, I will not judge in his favor. Imagine someone coming, you scream and holding his eye's not there. I still won't give him the verdict until I go see the other person, maybe both his eyes are poked out. Right? Isn't that possible? Don't be overtaken by emotion, nor be a victim of someone else playing the emotional game in front of you. وَلَوْ كُنَّا صَادِقِينَ, even if we were truthful, meaning in your eyes. And then they said this is what happened, and the contradiction in the story appeared. We were running and playing, and he ate, and I know it's crazy how we couldn't protect him, but we didn't. The last ayah, وَجَاءُوا عَلَى قَمِيصِهِ بِدَمٍ كَذِبٍ, and they brought upon his shirt false blood that wasn't his. Right? They slaughtered one of the sheep, when they found the wolf and actually did kill him. The point is, they had blood and they placed the blood on his shirt. قال بل سولت لكم أنفسكم أمرا فصبر جميل والله المستعان على ما تصفون. They came with this blood. He said, rather your souls have enticed you, have convinced you, have made it easy for you to do what you did. Again, notice his wisdom. There is no crime that has been done in human history except that those that committed it have a justification for it. Once it is the struggle, no one wants to feel evil, feel negative. The guy who blows up the abortion clinic says, God wants me to.